system ain't treating them equal. Providing truth for our people, we able to reach them. So anytime you get accused for a crime and Lord knows you ain't do it, we here to get you through it. Exemplifying prudence and glorifying God, making sure you're compensated for other people's doings. Our vision is to be one of the best. We're small enough to focus on your matter throughout the neighborhoods of Dallas. Working constantly and making sure your rights are protected. A firm team of lawyers, aggressive, effective. A team that has your back in the courtroom. Two well-spoken black lawyers in the courtroom. Investing time and resources when it's evident that you were treated wrong. Now you walking out of Dallas courtroom with a settlement. Corbin and Corbett, the father-daughter legal tag team that has your back in the courtroom. Our purpose is simple. To obtain a favorable outcome for each client and glorify Christ in all we do.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Attorney Augustus Corbett coming to you again today. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about a course that my daughter and I are offering for gun owners. And quite frankly, for African American gun owners. Although everyone is welcome to take this class, we did develop this class particularly for the increasing number of black people who are becoming gun owners. And we want to meet the need of making sure that those gun owners are not just armed, but they're also informed. All right, now, look at here. This is one of my guns, okay? This is one. This is a 1911. This is a .45. It's made by Kimber. It is a beautiful handgun. It is a powerful handgun, quite frankly. There's no clip in it, just taking care of safety issues here. But here it is. It is something. This is just one of many that I own, okay? Now, I grew up around guns. I'm from the country. I'm from North Carolina originally. I grew up in the country. Guns were everywhere, okay? And so I'm a big gun proponent. In fact, I believe that every African American should be armed. Every African American should be armed. We're living in very dangerous days, and there are people out here who will not blink an eye to get violent with us. And so you need to be able to protect yourself and to protect your family. And so we believe every black family should be armed, no question about it. But every one of those gun owners need to also be informed. And we're going to talk about that because a gun charge can be very, very costly. It can be costly financially, and it can be costly in terms of you picking up a criminal record and then it having all kinds of ramifications for your reputation, for your career, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we strongly recommend that you take 2 classes when you become a gun owner. First, you take a safety class so that you can learn how to handle your gun safely. And then we strongly recommend that you also take a gun law class. And when I say class, I want to emphasize class, a class. You got some companies out here who offer you the opportunity to pick up the phone and for a monthly fee and ask them questions. And you may or may not be asking questions of an attorney, but what you don't get and what distinguishes our class is it is a class. Okay, it is a class that will last from an hour to 2. And we will walk you through the relevant, pertinent gun laws, both federal and Texas gun laws, gun laws. Now, that raises a question. Should non-Texas residents take our class? Well, it depends. Our focus is, again, federal law and then Texas law. So if you're interested in learning the federal law that governs all guns, or at least most gun transactions, then you would benefit whether you're a Texas resident or not. But obviously the class is most advantageous for Texas residents because in addition to the federal law, we will also teach the pertinent, relevant Texas law as well. Now, so you need to take the class. And why is it that you should take our class? Well, I can think of at least 2 very good reasons. One, I've already told you. If you pick up a gun charge, you will really, really feel it could be devastating. How do I know? I know because I have represented more people than I can count, more people than I can remember on gun charge violations, okay? And let me tell you, let me warn you, it can be devastating. Even if you're in the right, even if you're in the right, it can still be devastating. I intend to share a couple of examples with you of why I feel so strongly about this. And then hopefully you'll see for yourself that this is not about me trying to, or us trying to make money from our course. It is our desire to help you, okay? Our course, by the way, costs $100 per participant. And you may say, oh, Lord, $100. Look, if you fool around and pick up a gun charge because you didn't know gun laws, I guarantee you it will cost you 100 times more than $100. Okay? I know the last gun case that I handled, the minimum fee was $10,000. $10,000 for that was minimum. $10,000. Okay? And oftentimes it's much more than that. So compare $100 to try to learn gun laws so that you can avoid spending $10,000 just with the criminal defense lawyer. Not to mention the fact that that record that you just picked up from that gun charge will also probably cost you a whole lot more than $10,000 because it could result in you losing your job and a whole lot of other things. So $100 is a drop in the bucket for what you will get from this class, okay? In fact, I've had people to call me after they bought guns and have paid me a nice hourly fee to just walk them through gun laws. Okay, just on an individual basis. And that's really where I kind of got the idea. The last couple that did that, it was a couple. I charged them a nice penny to spend an hour with them. It was basically a consultation. And I got the idea from that. I said, well, if these folks are smart enough to realize that owning a gun is a huge responsibility that carries a lot of risk and potential consequences, then I'm sure there are others out there who would benefit from the class as well. So that's how I came up with the idea to start the class. The name of the class is Armed and Informed. Armed and Informed, okay? So the first reason you need to take this class is because of the expensive legal fees and damage to reputation that you could experience from picking up a gun charge. And if you're African American, we are about 40% more likely to pick up gun charges than others. Okay? So that's the number one reason. The second reason is, again, I'm an attorney who represented many people charged with gun law violations. I know the law about gun laws. I know the law about gun laws, okay? I know the gun laws here in the state of Texas. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But yes, there are expensive legal fees. There is the criminal record. There is the potential of getting sued in civil court. And just imagine if you hire somebody, if you have to hire somebody to represent you in civil court, they're going to charge you by the hour, okay? Probably a minimum of $400-500 an hour, maybe more. And you could easily spend 30, 40, 50 hours or more that lawyer representing you. That's another $20,000. And instead of you spending $100 to try to avoid all that, now here you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees, as well as damage to your reputation. So don't make that mistake. This brings to mind of a young man that I represented. He is a fine young man. He was in college. He had a nice job lined up, and he was licensed to carry. So he had his pistol on him, and he went to a restaurant. Unbeknownst to him, the restaurant was the type of restaurant that made a majority of its money from alcohol sales. And in Texas, you're not supposed to carry a firearm on. Now, there have been some recent changes to the law, and we'll talk about that in the class. But at that time, you were not able, it was not legal for you to carry your firearm on the premises of a restaurant that made most of its money from alcohol, because obviously alcohol and guns usually is not a good mixture. They're usually not a good mixture. Anyway, he was charged with a felony. I represented him, got the felony reduced, and eventually I got it dismissed. But he spent a bunch of money with me, and it killed his dreams of that new job. It was gone, over, done. Because this particular agency, it was a law enforcement agency, did not hire anyone with any kind of blemish on their record, especially a firearms violation, okay? That's one. I always tell the story too of another case I represented. She was charged with a second-degree felony. She was facing up to 20 years in prison. And guess why? She simply brandished her gun. In other words, she pulled it out and showed it to a young man who was physically assaulting her daughter. The young man called 911, and police came, arrested her, and charged her with a second-degree felony, assault with a deadly weapon. And she pulled the gun out to help her daughter, to protect her daughter. My fee in that case was $15,000. $15,000. And it took me one solid year. We had to set this case for trial. We were getting ready to go to trial on the case until the district attorney finally came to their senses and dismissed the charge. Okay? But even after dismissing the charge, and she was licensed to carry as well, even after dismissing the charge at that time, her license to carry was revoked, and the charge was still on her record. Okay? So I had to work with her to get that charge expunged. All right? And the young man also threatened to sue her in civil court for assault. I don't know how that turned out because, I was already finished representing her and I didn't want to get involved in the civil side of things. So that's just two of many situations like that, okay? So take my word for it. You don't want to be charged with the gun violation. Now, what will we cover in the class? Well, there are a few things. We will cover first the Second Amendment, and especially how it relates to blacks, how it relates to African Americans. So we'll cover the Second Amendment. We will cover under federal law, we will talk about who can purchase a gun under federal law, who can possess a gun under federal law, and who can sell a gun under federal law. Okay? We'll talk about those three things because I tell you what, if you get popped, in other words, if you get charged with a federal gun violation, it's even worse. It's even worse. All right? And as it relates to Texas law, we'll cover those same three issues. Who can purchase a gun under Texas law? Who can possess a gun under Texas law? Who can sell a gun under Texas law? Okay, those three things. Then we'll also cover where you can carry a gun. Very important, just like I just told you, with this young man who carried that gun to that restaurant and it had huge ramifications for him. So where can you carry a gun? Also, we will get into, and this is where a lot of folks right here, their mind just goes to this when they think about guns, and that is self-defense. Self-defense. The self-defense statute here in Texas is convoluted, if you will, and you need to try to understand, have an attorney explain to you the nuances of the self-defense statute. And we'll do so in that class. As a part of the self-defense statute, we'll talk about the Castle Doctrine. In fact, we just got a case dropped of a young man who pulled his gun out on someone, and we argued the Castle Doctrine for this young man, as well as the Stand Your Ground Doctrine, and we were able to get that case dismissed. But not before he had dropped a pretty penny with our law firm, okay? And look, we're in business to make money as lawyers, but we're also in business to do good by people, okay? We want to do well and we want to do good. And doing good, from our estimation with respect to all the black people who are buying guns now, is to provide a course so that you can avoid picking up a gun law violation. So yes, self-defense, and we'll talk about the Castle Doctrine. We'll talk about stand your ground. And another very important topic that we'll get into is what to do if you're stopped by police and you have your gun in your car or on your person. What to do? What legal actions should you take in that type of situation to avoid getting shot and to avoid getting charged with some sort of offense? Okay, so we'll go into that as well. So let me review that. We will cover federal law as it relates to who can purchase a gun, who can possess a gun, who can sell a gun. And under Texas law, we'll talk about who can purchase a gun, who can possess a gun, who can sell a gun, where you can carry a gun, self-defense and all of its nuances, at least its main nuances, including the Castle Doctrine and the Stand Your Ground Doctrine. And we're also going to talk about what to do if you're stopped by the police and you have a gun in your car. If you're black, that could be fatal. And you know that I'm not saying that to scare you. We know that that is a reality. Okay? The first person who comes to mind is Philando Castile. Okay? Young man who was shot to death by a police officer when Mr. Castile was licensed to carry, told the officer he had the gun in the vehicle, and he still got shot to death. So I am not exaggerating. I'm not embellishing the facts to say if you're black and you get stopped and you have a gun in your car, you need to know how to handle that. Okay? Now, when is the class? The class is Thursday, September 30th, 2020. Thursday, September 30th, 2020. The class will be virtual. We will conduct the class either via Zoom. Well, actually, we're gonna conduct it via webinar. So it's going to be a webinar. Okay. So it'll be a webinar, and the class will start at 5 p.m. on that particular day, September 30th, 2020. All right. Let me see if somebody's trying to get my attention. All right. No. Okay. So when is the class? Thursday, September 30th, 2020. Class will be virtual, and the class starts at 5 p.m. on that day. Now, let me show you our website. Our website is on the screen. It's armedandinformed.com. You can get there at armedandinformed.com. And on the front page, on the home page, you see it says sign up. It's one of the red buttons there, sign up. You can go there and register for the course and make your payment. Okay? You can go right there, sign up, and register for the course. You got to register for the course. We need to know who you are. We need to make sure you understand a few things, which will occur during the registration. And so you just click the button, sign up, and register, and then you'll be taken to the payment page. Okay? Again, it's armedandinformed.com. Real easy to remember. armedandinformed.com. Now, I also want to show you another website of the largest African-American owned and operated gun association. The largest and national African-American gun association. The National African-American Gun Association. I am a proud member. These are some really good people. Folks who started this organization and the people who and the ones who operate this organization. Fine organization. And I think it's critical, to be honest with you, if you're going to be a gun owner, I think you need to join forces with others who are also gun owners and who share your hue. In other words, African American. So go to their website. It is www.naaga.com. NAGA. www.naga.com. And I strongly advise you to join that organization. Okay? So I just wanted to give you some info about our upcoming gun law class. Our upcoming gun law class. And again, it's Thursday, September 30th, 2020. Someone just texted me and said that Will it be 5 or will it be 5 p.m. or 6 p.m.? Well, I thought we had set it for 5 p.m. Someone just reminded me it could be 6 p.m. If you will just register, we will certainly confirm with you the correct time, whether it be 5 or whether it be 6 p.m. We got what? We still got 2 weeks out before we need to, to decide affirmatively what that'll be. So that's to be announced. It'll be either 5 or 6 p.m. So, yeah, I hope that you take advantage of this course. I think it will do you a lot of good. Anybody who's a Texas resident, anyone who's a Texas resident, and you are, especially if you're African American, although anybody can take the class. I will be teaching the class, Chloe and I, from somewhat of an African American perspective. Okay, so because these things are nuanced. Self-defense should be self-defense for everybody, but self-defense when you black may mean something different. Or the castle doctrine when you black may mean something completely different, or it may be applied in a different way when you're black. So we're going to try to touch on those nuances. That is another added benefit of taking our course rather than taking some course out there of people who don't know anything about your experience as an African American. And again, I don't think that there are any who are out there who are actually teaching a class. Of course, again, I said that you can, most of them will allow you to call and ask them a few questions for a few minutes, but not a bona fide class. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I think. Okay, so go to our website, www.armedandinformed.com for more information. That information has been scrolling down at the bottom of the screen. Again, I hope that you take this class. I hope to see you September 30th, 2020 at 5 or 6 p.m. We'll let you know that for sure. But thank you. God bless you.